Alright, here we are. Lifessa Lounge episode 11. So gents, one week into 2017. How many people do you reckon have broken their New Year's resolutions already?
Quite a few.
I'm good, I didn't say it once, I'm good. I woke up first day of 2017. I was training like I was training 2016. I was doing the rest of the stuff, so I'm good, but I'm guaranteed out there.
No, I reckon there's a lot of people, because especially on the first week, I don't know how you guys have found it, but my first week has been really hectic, and then when time gets hectic, then other stuff goes out of the window.
I don't think I've ever started any New Year's. I think I started on Monday.
I think that's probably right, actually. Some people will be like, well, I'm not going back to work until Monday, because some people already took that extended break. They'll be like, let me not start. That diet, let me have that little extra piece of cake. Ooh, there's some leftovers from New Year's. Let me do that.
Trust me. I don't think a lot of people have started it. Also, like last week was pretty hectic for me. It's like first week of work, first week of our year, and then it's like, wow, it's pretty busy. And I've been ill as well. I've had man flu. It's wiped me out. I haven't been gym. I haven't done anything. So
I'm not gonna lie, I got caught down a bit, and I don't even like to say this in public, but I got caught down a bit, and this has done my head in. And I think what's not helped me is I'm unrelenting in my routine, so I'm still doing my 60 miles a day, I'm still doing my gym, but that just means when I get to the end of the day, my body's like, Ben, I need sleep. So I'm not gonna lie, I got in my bed, I stepped in a hoodie, I put the heat up to maximum. I'm like, I am sweating this out. I do not have time to go for a week and a half worth of cold. So whatever it's supposed to be, I've kicked out of my system in 3 days. Now I'm good to go. But so now I'm really ready to kick off.
So would you say that he shouldn't have excuses then not to go to the gym because he's been on man food?
No,
I don't even man food, by the way. I don't like it because it acts like we're just soft.
Yeah,
everybody else makes it food.
I just need time to rest and recuperate and then hit next week hard.
Yeah,
and I also balance as well because I had to work. I thought, was it gym or work? And I thought work. I need to work.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't like balance either. I don't like being susceptible to it. I do not like empowering illness. That's why I woke up, I was like, I don't get sick. I don't get sick because I don't believe in getting sick. And that's why I fast tracked it, so I'm good. I'm back to normal now, feeling fresh, good to go.
I felt sick when the cold hits my bones and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cold. And I was like, nah, I'm ill. Normally I don't feel it. So,
serious?
Yeah, normally I don't feel like the cold. And like this week I was feeling it. It was like, come up my trousers. Like, wow, I should wear long johns.
I feel the cold. I'm not a man when it comes to being cold.
See, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm normally good. And then like, this week was just bad. So you want to talk about this week, guys?
Well, I was thinking when we were having a couple of chats in there, we were going to talk about. We've had different conversations on different topics. Keep it a bit fresh. I was thinking one thing to look at, especially if you're looking from a business perspective, is the art of the sale. Because fundamentally, no businesses can run without sales, right? Period. Just flat out. Like, you can have the best business in the world. If you cannot generate sales, it's not going to last very long, right?
It's not a business. If you don't generate sales, it's not a business. It's not a business.
And I think people overlook the fact that salesmanship is an art. Like, some people are just naturally born to do it. Some people you can develop the skill, but it is an art in itself. It's not one of those blasé things where you can be just like, well, do you know what? I've got a product. Yeah, I'm just going to sell it. I can just become a salesman. I've never done it before. I know how to make sales. I just don't think it naturally.
Actually, I think we're all sort of salesmen. I think it just some people are better than others, and that art then perfecting your craft and everything. Then you then become a better salesman than the next person. But I actually think that we're all sort of
I think that I think you're right, but I think in this world everybody to a degree is their own salesperson. They all are, right? But that doesn't mean they're good at it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, some people are better than others, and some people are good salesmen, and some people.
But some people are good salesmen in the form of actually selling a product.
Yeah.
Everybody has something to sell of their own, but some people don't actually realise that. They're like a shut shop.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something to sell, but they don't know what their asset is, so they're not selling it to anybody. It's just like in the warehouse.
It also depends on what you're comfortable with. Some people are comfortable going out there and meeting new people and selling to them. Some people think like, this isn't for me, and I don't worry to be behind the board doing administration. They just don't feel comfortable doing it. It's something you have to learn.
Well, that's what I think as well. When it comes to sales, is being confident is something that I think is quite key. Some people say that you have to be a great speaker to be a good salesman or a great talker. I don't know. I don't necessarily think you have to be a great talker. I just think you have to be good at communication. But being confident is more of a paramount ingredient when being a good salesperson, because when you're trying to sell to somebody, you imagine someone trying to sell to you that's really that scared and timid and like, I don't really know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be confident on what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to be. You have to have. You have to know what it is you're selling, right? Because that's what it's like with anything. If you know what it is you're talking about, then you can speak with confidence.
Yeah.
So if you're confident in your product, and people can sell products that they don't actually believe in, as long as they know the ins and outs of it, right? So I think it is to a degree that you have to have confidence. I think it is. I think your ability to engage with people is really strong. Like I saw one of these videos, it's quite an old video, but it popped up on my Facebook timeline. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm sure I saw it like a couple of years ago. There's this black guy and he's selling door to door, and he's selling like some cleaner or something. But he's just rolling off joke after joke after joke in the way that he's selling. And he's selling these people, and this woman has pulled out, and the video's gone on YouTube because she's gone back in her house and then videoed him because he's so entertaining when he's selling to her. Okay. And she says halfway through, she's like, can I put it on YouTube? And he's like, yeah. And he's talking to him, he's like, half of your neighbours are just buying this stuff because they buy the stuff because they like me. They're not even buying it because they like the product. They just like how I'm carrying myself about it and how entertaining I am. Now, he has conquered what it takes to make sales there. He was using it to go door to door because he actually wanted to be a comedian, and he was building up his skills to be able to talk to people and make people laugh. But at the same time, by creating that relationship when he was turning up with them, and at the same time, he was also fully selling the product to them. So he saw a stain on the floor. Oh look, there's a stain on the floor. I'm gonna show you like this. Does it off there? Oh look, and there you go. I bet this hasn't even looked shiny since you moved into the house in the 70s, and he shines it up there right in front of their eyes. So that was perfect sales. Right, this is all of a sudden you have a demand, and I can supply you with the solution to it. And so these are a kind of key things when
but there has to be a need, doesn't there?
Well, it does have to be a need, but sometimes a salesman helps people to find, to realise
people identify.
Because like you say 5 years ago, there wasn't a need for tablets, and now everyone has a tablet. And Steve Jobs, when the market started, no one knew they needed a tablet, but he identified to the market, he identified to the customer that they would need the tablet. And because they had a laptop, they had a phone.
But is the need the actual tablet, or maybe something in between? That's what it was.
He created the need for it.
You reckon?
I think there's different variations when it comes to it, because that's innovation. That's innovation addressing a gap in what the audience's needs, right? So in the customer needs, right, he's innovated to find a gap that didn't exist. So there are certain components, because that's business building, as opposed to direct sales. Like he's identified, an actual gap that needs to be addressed. I think one of the best, and I was saying to you guys before. So on the Wolf of Wall Street, and don't get me wrong, what Jordan Belfort done to make his business is unethical, right? But there's one scene in it which perfectly sums up sales when they're sitting at the table and he says, sell me this pen. And one of the guys goes, I can sell anything. He goes, alright, sell me this pen. He's like, oh no, I'm eating that. I'm eating today. Obviously he's nervous. Then he goes to the other one, he's like, right, Brad, sell me this pen. You want me to sell you this pen? Do me a favour, write your name down on that napkin. I can't, I don't have a pen. Here, bam. Like supply and demand and a sense of urgency. Two fundamental principles of sales wrapped up in the most simplistic way. I always laugh when I watch that scene because it's such simplicity, but there's such fundamental things at the same time. Like he hasn't just said, I've got your pen. Like everybody needs pens in the world, but why do I need a pen right now? Sense of urgency, sense of here is something that you need and I can supply it. And people can't necessarily always do that off the bat with their product. They see what their product is, they think they know why people need it, but they're not very good at accurately articulating that. Therefore, when they go out to people, they're like, well, it's a new product, but if I can't understand why I'm going to need it for, then it's not really helping me, right?
Well, like you said, the urgency, that's something that you need to build in, and you do that by questioning, because, like I said, there has to be a need and there has to be motivation behind them wanting to act on something quickly. You can't just say to somebody, do something quickly. There has to be some sort of motivation behind it, and you need to sort of get that out of them by asking them, good questions, open questions, closed questions. It's multiple different questions.
Well, I think that's an art of one of the key principles of great salesmen, right, is they talk less, they listen more.
Yeah.
Because they may have, so you can come up with a product and you may think, because ultimately, we can say what we said about Steve Jobs and innovating, right? But the market will tell you what the market wants to consume. Okay? So you may come up with, okay, I can identify where the market's going and I've found a gap that I've already identified. That still means you're paying attention to the market, right? So when you go to a customer, right, I have a product, but then they start to better understand, okay, so this is what you're telling me you need. Okay, I have a base of a product, I have like a prototype, but what I'm hearing from what you're saying is it would be a hell of a lot more valuable if it could do X, Y, and Z at the same time. Let me go away, let me come back. And you get all of that via listening as opposed to, here's my product, I'm ready to hard sell you. And the customer's sitting, and you're sitting there as the customer. It's when you get those people who call you up on the cold calls, and I'm like, I didn't need this at the start. I still don't need it halfway through the call. You're wasting my time now. You're not listening to it. I've had cold calls turn up. Woman's, hello, is that man speaking? Yeah, spiel. One of the times I was walking down the road with a friend, I was talking to her, we were walking down the road at lunchtime, I picked up this phone, I took the phone away from I continued the conversation with her. Talking. I put it back 5 minutes later, she was then breaking for a breath, and then she goes to, so what do you think? Are you interested in hearing more about this? I wasn't interested in hearing what you said, but that was prime example of just rubbish salesmanship.
And you know what the issue is as well, is generally in life, whilst we all need stuff, we generally don't like being sold to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So sometimes when somebody is talking, you know, they've got something you need and it's a good product, you initially have your backup, and a good salesman needs to initially break that barrier down and build that trust, because sometimes you don't want to be ripped off, and that you have to get that across to somebody as well.
So when you say be a good salesperson, you have to also understand the art of persuasion, to persuade people to like buy stuff. So persuade them to actually trust you. So when someone comes in first time and then you're trying to initiate a sell, you have to initially get them to trust you.
You have to sell yourself.
Yeah.
You have to sell yourself. I think for myself, especially because I look quite young and I work in an industry where I do young baby face, but I take that quite seriously in the fact that I understand that I probably need to sell myself a lot more than somebody else, because initially when people meet me, they probably think, and I've had it before after I've spoken to people before, and they'll be like, you know what, when I first met you, I thought he was like 23, and I was thinking, how is this guy going to know mortgages and all of this stuff and know what to do? So I spend time on selling myself, and that comes from experience. So it's not just easy just because I've got a lot of experience, so that helps me, but that helps me with persuasion and getting them to buy into trusting me, and it comes from a genuine place as well. And that's the difference between some salespeople and some others, that some people sell unethically, and whereas me, I'm coming from a genuine place. And I think when you have a product, you should, one, believe in your product and believe that that person is going to do good for that person, and I think that will come through when you're talking to people.
First off, ain't no one been trying to tell you look 23 for a few years now. Like, you may be babyface, but you ain't that babyface.
I still get it, man. I still get it.
You should be selling them, whatever. You should be going into sales for your moisturiser.
Look, at the moment, I've got, you know, when I've got the clean shaven and everything, I look young. I do.
I got asked for ID when I turned 32.
What? I'm not acting like I believe you, like. You're making me feel older than I feel already.
Every year since I turned 30, every year on my birthday, I get asked for ID. I got asked for ID on my 30th birthday when I went to buy champagne. I got asked for ID last year as well. I got asked for ID at Winter Wonderland when I went to buy cider.
No way.
You look like younger than 25. And I was like, wow, I'm 33.
There's some nonsense going on here, man. I haven't been ID since I was like 12. But on seriously, I would. So when you said you need to understand the art of persuasion, I think I would count that with persuasion and influence. I think sometimes there's a bit of a stigma on persuasion that it can be you're trying to persuade people in the wrong manner. Whereas there are principles of influence, but a way of influencing somebody is building up that degree of trust. I think the difference between an average salesman, a good salesman, a great salesman is a great salesman is always kind of almost contrary to the belief. A great salesman doesn't go with the old mantra of let me undercommit and over-deliver. A great salesman will actually overcommit and will over-deliver on top of that. And they do all of this by focusing on looking to give maximum value to any customer audience to deal with. So I'm talking about, I'm not going to give you a hard sell. I'm going to build up a degree of trust, because I'm going to work on building a relationship with you, as opposed to just building a sale with you. Because I'm not thinking about the sale here. I'm thinking about the business. So if it's my own business, I'm not thinking about just I approach you, I call you, I'm cold calling 25 people a day. I'm not thinking of just 25 sales a day. I'm thinking of 25 additional people to help grow my business, right? Yeah. So when I'm calling you, you might not buy on the first time that I'm calling you, but I'll leave you with some form of value that you leave the phone thinking, well, I didn't like his product, but I actually liked him. I actually like what his business was offering. Yeah. I don't need what he's offering me right now, but I'm interested if he expands in the future. Or if I do need that in the future, you're stuck in their mind.
Or it's not even if they need it, if someone else needs it, they might say, okay, well...
But they pass it on. And that's the difference. Because if somebody's giving me a hard sell, and I'll go back to the cold calls, I'll go back to the spam emails. If you keep persistently going at me, and I've clearly shown no interest in it, or I've explained to you that I've either not responded, or I've said to you I don't have an interest, fine, you can follow up 1 or 2 times if I've missed your call. Then if I pick up the phone and all you're trying to do is hard sell, hard sell, hard sell, hard sell, and I'm still not interested, I'm not going to pass you on to anybody. Yeah. I'm not going to pick up the phone to you and say, oh yeah, by the way, I've had this pain in the arse salesman who keeps trying to sell something to me that I do not want. He is aggravating and annoying, but I'll put him in your direction. That's like a kick in the teeth,
don't
right?
Don't be pushy. I remember this was probably around about May of last year. I had a really good meeting with somebody, and again, I think I think he was more impressed with me because my level of I'm experienced, so my knowledge of my product is good. And I think when he did first come in, because we've spoken a lot since, he did think, oh, who's this guy? He's not going to know anything. So I think he was impressed with the fact that I knew what I was talking about. But I'm never a pushy salesman. I don't even like the word salesman, if I'm honest, but I'm never a pushy person. And just like what you were saying, he didn't do anything that day. He then referred somebody else to then come back and use me, and I hadn't even done anything for him really. Do you know what I mean? So it's just when you get that across to them that you are being genuine and you have got a good product and something that they need, then they will then talk to other people.
But that's building back again. That's because you're not focusing on the sale. You're not focusing on the individual sale. You're focusing on the business building.
Yeah.
So would you also say that, you said it before, when you build up trust, you have to also believe in the product you're selling, because if you don't believe in the product you're selling, then they won't believe in you.
I think so.
So when you try and sell to them, they won't believe in you and they won't believe in the product. So
don't get me wrong, there's some people out there that that don't necessarily believe in what they're selling and can still sell because they're good at maybe hiding, lying and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So you do get both sides of the spectrum.
Ethical sales.
Yeah. For me, I couldn't be that person, but there are people out there.
I think you can. I think it's easy enough to do. So I think if you know your product, then you can sell your product. Mm-hmm. The difference is.
But would you?
No, the difference is the trust that brings, right? So I don't have to. I can go and sell you a product that I don't believe in. I don't feel no. When I say I don't feel no way, I don't have no issue from an approach perspective.
Yeah.
To be able to sell you a product that I don't believe in versus a product that I do believe in. Okay. However, if I sell you a product that I do believe in, then what I deliver you is completely in line with what I've told you I was going to sell you. Yeah. As opposed to, I sell you a product which I know can't deliver what I'm actually telling you. That doesn't stop me from giving you a sales pitch that you can believe in.
Yeah.
But it means that when you go to put it into action, when you apply, when you use that product, when you use that service, whatever it is, and it fails to deliver against it, you are not going to come back to me. I've lost all integrity with you, and I've not built any business there. I've got a one-off sale, and you're never coming back. I can't get any future sales from you. I can't get any upsells off you. I can't get any referrals off you. I can't get anything because I failed to deliver on what I committed. It doesn't stop the actual sales process, I don't think. Yeah. But again, that's the difference between understanding, are you selling to build a business or are you selling to make a one-off sale? Yeah. Because if you're selling to just make 100, if you've got 100 items in your inventory, right, and you just need to sell 100 items and you're not thinking past restocking those, then fine, go out and sell something you don't believe in. Say you want to just clear out your house, then fine, just sell stuff. You're not looking for repeat customers, right? If you're trying to build a business, then yes, you need to believe in what you're selling. I don't think it fundamentally changes the actual way that you make the sale.
Yeah.
I think what it does is it changes the impact and any chance of sustainable growth of building a following and an audience and a customer base in the future. That's where it will come back to bite you, and that's why a lot of people can't build up their businesses, because from a salesperson perspective, if you look at the fundamentals, they are a great salesman because they understand it all. You go back to Jordan Belfort, it's a perfect example. Salesman-wise, great salesman. What he was selling, every one of those people who worked in his company, who put out a pitch for people, they were selling them the world, and they knew straight up what they were selling them was not going to come to fruition. But all it was focused on was the money. And don't get me wrong, look, you see the life that he lived in the film, and then you hear from talking to him that didn't even scratch the surface of what his life was really like. But then, ultimately, out of that, ends up going to prison, reforms himself, now he's come back, but he has to go through all of that. So it's not really, I wouldn't say, worth it in the long run if you're going to build a business where half of your employees are going to end up in going to prison, right?
That just comes back down to what type of salesman do you want to be, and do you want to build a business long term, or are you just one-stop shop? Yeah, and we sort of touched on that in another video, didn't we?
Okay, so then we talked about selling face-to-face, but then now you see more digital marketing and digital sales. How does that change the landscape in the sense of, like, if you're an online business, how will you build that value and build that trust with your clients?
Well, the digital landscape is completely switched up again, right? So it used to be, when you remove the digital landscape, it used to be door-to-door. So it used to be direct mail sales, right? It used to be door-to-door salesmanship. It used to be cold calling people on the phone, right? Whereas now, digital landscape has changed that out completely. You bought radio, and it's always changed over the years. Radio came in, radio's a new form. Okay. Don't have to have newspapers anymore. You could have adverts on newspapers. TV comes in, you can have adverts on TVs. Now all of a sudden, digital landscape means I can have adverts and connections everywhere. So I listen, to be honest, it's becoming a bit of a bugbear for me, it's annoying me, but I listen to SoundCloud a lot, and now, because SoundCloud used to be free, and now they want to make you pay for, on the free version I have to deal with adverts, right? But that's another platform where you can get adverts in, right? You can get them on Facebook, on all your social medias. So all of a sudden, I can rapidly expand where I can sell. I don't need to sell to the people who are just in my local vicinity anymore. If my product or my service is good enough, I can sell to anywhere in the world now, because I have access to all of the digital platforms, right? So it's broadened the spectrum of where your audience can be. But at the same time, it's made it easier than ever to connect to your audience, as we mentioned in one of the ones when we were talking about connecting the audience before, to understand what their gripes and their concerns are, to listen to them in the background and see what are the common problems that people are talking about every day. Let me go and find, right, either my products can fit that, or as part of building my business, here's another product I can add to my shopping line, because I've just figured there's a problem that 90% of the population have. Bing, I've got a great idea to fix that. Right, now I build the product, and now I can blast out through your likes of social media, the Twitter sphere, through your Instagrams, through your Facebooks, through your YouTubes. You can get it all out there. Hey, great, I've got a product that can solve your problem. So it's almost like, again, it's like it's taken you past the TV. TV used to be adverts used to be expensive. All of a sudden, your barrier to break into getting in front of people's eyes has become immeasurably easier. So
would you say these are target audience as well, in terms of, like, you can target it, if you're selling things to males and females, you now know you can actually geo-target it, not geo-target it, but you can target to the sex of the person, the age group that you want to target to. Also, like geo-targeting, you can target that area that you want to target to. So it allows you to specify your audience easier and then advertise directly to them. So now I know if I click on, like, I like Canon stuff, so if I go on Amazon and I click on Canon, I now know that on my Facebook the next advert will be based on Canon. Canon on Canon stuff. So you can target your audience now, and it's a smart way of selling directly to you.
How does that work actually?
Well, it's all so they all tie. The usage of the internet, the usage of the internet just lends itself to analytics, right? So there's always been ways to analyse your market. However, now you've got the internet in place, I can use all of the analytics tools to understand, right, who's coming to my website, who's coming to look at my product, how long are they staying for, what's their demographic, what's their age group, what country are they coming from, what's their click-through rate, what queries are they putting in? Google uses algorithms to work out, right, you've clicked in here, and therefore their ad platform says, okay, somebody purchases and says, I want to put ads, which I'm going to get paid for on my website. Google says, okay, I am going to actually use my knowledge of the person who's visiting your website to populate that ad with the right ad they want to see. So if I go and visit a website, the ad that I see might be different to the ad that you see because it's picking up all of that in the background. But the whole usage of the internet itself has just given birth to the whole big data generation. And there's so much data out there nowadays that we're just even touching the surface on how much you can use it. But that gives you, so you can use the analytics across kind of what your social media platforms is, what your Googles are. To be honest, any platform that you have nowadays has analytics tools built in. So if you're going on a YouTube, you can check the analytics of your channel. You can do it with all your websites you've got. You can get the same thing for all your social media ones. And it's the same thing. Who's visiting? Who's not visiting? Should I be changing my focus a bit more? Should I be and in doing that, maybe you've tailored your message to one particular demographic, but you're actually getting visitors from more. Do you need to consider about tailoring the way that you're putting your message across? Do you need to fit somebody else? So all of that data is there. The beauty of it is it's all there. How much do you want to take the time to actually pay attention to it? And again, great salesmen will go into the effort of paying, because that's the equivalent of listening. That's the equivalent of me listening to you. But it happens without me even having to go and talk to you now. I can talk to you on top of it, but all of a sudden, when I open up a conversation with you, I already have a background knowledge. I'm no longer going in cold. It's not like when I used to knock up at the door, and the only way that you would have been able to work out what someone's doing is spying on them in the background. And you don't need to do that anymore. But in effect, the internet almost gives you that back door. It's like an indirect spy, but used in the right manner. It's a good way to go about it, because you can understand why. I'm not going to stand up and waste your time. I already know the kind of things that you're looking for before I come and sell to you. And that's the thing. A great salesman, again, between an average salesman, just uses the same approach all the time. A good salesman will start to adapt to the listener and to the customer a bit more. A great salesman is always listening to the customer, is always listening to the audience and trying to find out the best way to meet their needs, but he's always trying to find a more efficient way to run through the whole transactional process.
So I was going to say, so coming back offline, I'm starting a business, and we spoke about customers coming to you. Now, how do you go out and find your customers so you can make a sales to them? So, like, for example, if you started a new, not barbershop, somewhere where you have to actually sales have to come to you, how would you go about? Would you go out networking, or how would you go about generating those sales? Is it advertising, or what's the best way to advertise people nowadays? Is it online?
Social media.
All of the above. Every option you've got to get in front of somebody, you take. Should you be using social media? Yes. Should you be using the internet? Yes. Should you be word of mouth? Yes. Should you be networking? Should you be going to join the local country club and put expenses so you can get yourself in front of the right eyes and ears? Yes. Every option that you've got out there to get in touch with your audience, use that. You're a new barber, then go and put yourself in places where the people who are going to be your customers are going to be based.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, also you need the product as well. So if you are a new barber, you have to be able to cut hair. You know what I mean? You have to be good so that when you are cutting people's hair, that's where the word of mouth, and like you said, you're going out and networking and all of these different things. So that's important as well.
Barbers are a good example now, and we were talking about the one down the road in North London. Joshua, it's one of those things. There are certain services you can do as well. A good way to get your name out there is to create a sense of scarcity about it. So as opposed to just being a barbershop where anybody can walk into, if you become a barbershop where all of a sudden you can only come in by appointment, you can't come in on demand, you're locked out all the time, you only work a certain hours, all of a sudden people start looking, well, hold on, what's going on here? This barber has got so much attention that he's got, and a few celebrity endorsements are never going to hurt you, right? But has locked it down so much, he's got celebrities going there, people have got to go in only by booking. So you can use that as an example. But then I've got a flip side where I've got a friend who owns a barbershop back in Ipswich, and he used to be, so people used to go there, it used to be funny, he got down to being the only barber in the shop. And he would open at 9, so people would turn up at 8. Then he started going at 8, people would, at one time there was one guy who used to turn up at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, because then if you went there at 10 o'clock, you were going to queue for 2.5 hours. But then he's created, if in his instance, his product, he's gone over and beyond. He's created, his barbershop is an experience now. So you go in there, he's got the big TV out, he's got the Xbox out, he's got like 6 barbers lined up. It's a real experience when you go in there. Do you have to deal with a queuing anymore? No, because there's an app. So you go on the app, you put yourself in a queue, he'll tell you where you are in the queue and when you need to be there, making your life... He knows that people were already willing to go to his barbershop to get a cut before over anybody else's. They were ready to wait. He could have just stopped at that and said, well, I don't care, I'll make it ready to wait. Didn't, expanded on top of that and said, hold on, I'm going to make this even easier for you. Rather than you having to sit here in a queue, I've got an app that's going to be able to get you in the queue and come there. And if you want to be there early, you can come and jam. It's going to be like, it's like people who go, it's like youngsters who go to like a chicken shop to jam after school. Yeah. It's created like this whole experience for people when they're going just to get barber. And that's going over and beyond. I'm no longer just giving you a cut. I'm giving you a trip to the barbershop experience.
Well, like what you said earlier about delivering on your promise. And that's what, because how many of us will go to, or we walk along a high street and you want to go to a restaurant and you look inside and you say, oh, there's not many people in there. And then you go to another one and there's loads of people and you be like, yeah, that's the one I want to go into. Because you instantly think, oh, these people are going there, that's why I want to go there. You have to create that sort of...
Yeah, I read in the book, I don't know if it's Contagion or Opposite Scribe, that if you have a restaurant, the key to success in restaurants is to have open windows.
Yeah.
People actually, when they walk by, they can actually see there's demand in there.
Yeah.
I always
but what if you've got open windows and there's no...
No. I always say if I start a restaurant business, I was starting off with like a small little catering stand. I'll pay actors for the first week to line up.
Yeah.
Because what that does, it makes people, and the queue will be there. People will be like, if people are queuing up for this, it must be good.
Yeah.
So then people queue. I'm generating artificial interest.
Yeah.
And eventually, the artificial interest become real because there's that actual goal, and the queue will still be there. So people keep coming back. As long as the product I sell is good, I'll keep generating.
But that's what we think, don't we? If we think if somebody's busy, then they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, say I may receive an email, and I've got time to respond to it. At that moment, I would never respond to an email straight away. That's just me. That's just what I've learned over the time. I'll wait a little while because I don't want that person thinking that I'm just there. I'm just not no. You know,
sit around
you know what I mean? So you want to create that sense of that you're busy. It's the same with like my where I work when they book appointments for me. They'll be like, he's back to back. He's only got these slots, and that's what all the other thing you want to sort of when you're talking and you're selling to people, you don't want to give them too much choice. A or B.
You give them scarcity.
Yeah. And there are different ways. There are creative ways to go about it. One of them can be a restaurant where you've got windows on the front of it. There's a flip side, and the name of the place always escapes me. But there's a restaurant in New York. Now, from the outside, it just looks, well, there's a couple actually. I'm going to use the Vegas one. So there's a restaurant in New York. Now, basically, you can't get in there. They take bookings on a daily, but they open their lines at like 12, and they're booked up by like 12:05, right? But to get in there, you go in through what looks like just like a normal kind of place. Yeah. And the way to get in there is there's a phone booth.
Oh yeah, I know that.
And you pick up the phone and say that you've got your appointment in there, and the whole door kind of opens, and there's a whole bar/restaurant behind there. People go there because they've created this. Again, it's this form of secrecy that's been created around it. But there's one down Islington. There's a cocktail bar there. Now you go there. The place is called 69 Colbrook Road because that is the name of the number it's on the road. But when you go there and when you look it up, it's the bar with no name. Yeah. When you get your receipt, it's the bar with no name. Because it's created this whole form of secrecy behind it. When you book in there, really small place, really intimate setting, you can probably only fit like 50 people or so.
Yeah.
But because of that, it's one of those, again, the name gets out there of it because of the fact that they've created the secrecy of it. Yeah. And again, when I mentioned the Vegas one, you've got secret... So when we went to Vegas, we stayed in the Cosmopolitan, you've got secret pizza. It's not even got... And when I'm trying to tell people about it, I'm like, the pizza there is the bomb. Like, by chance, before we were going, I'd seen it on a travel channel that said, if you're going there, visit this place. There's no signs for it. When the doors are closed, the door is just a wall. There's no sign for it when it's open. So basically, you go there, and we came out one night, and I was like, let's go to Secret Pizza. And you walk up there, it's just a walkway, no sign or nothing. You go up there, and then you go in. I mean, it's some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life. But again, people go there because they've created this secrecy. And then we went there to go there one night, and it was closed. And I didn't believe that it was closed, so I literally ran up 2 floors to double check that it was closed. But when it's closed, it's just a wall. Literally, it's just a wall. No sign like Secret Pizza was here, Secret Pizza will be back. No opening times or the rest of it. So there are creative ways to go about it. One is, you can have the sign of busyness. 2, you can have that sense of kind of secrecy that you use to create the scarcity. But it's all about prompting somebody to actually take interest. So if you're kind of given a service in the form of kind of a restaurant or a bar, then there's one way that you would go about it. If it's a product, it's the same thing. But I think that it's interesting when it comes to sales, especially online sales, is that we've gone through the whole period where everything was, well, discount. So everybody sells stuff at like a stupid discount to the point where it's just become, you can't trust products anymore. Whereas now, I think it's taken a bit of a flip turn. Whereas now you'll get people who might come in at a low barrier, and then the feedback they're getting as they're listening to their customers is, wow, I can't believe it, you're selling this product for less than it's worth. So actually what you can do off the back of that is say, well, actually, I think it gives more integrity to my name if I actually increase the price of it. But I don't just increase the price for nothing. Increase the price, but then increase what you're giving. So every time you increase the price on it to go in line with the value you're actually delivering, then increase the value on top of that as well. And before you even get to this, again, before I even sell you a product, I want to give you 50 different pieces of information for free, which are valuable. And I'm not talking about download my ebook so I can get your email, my ebook is useless. I'm talking about download something that's actually valuable, right? Because half the time what people do now is when you've got those email lists, is download this ebook. The ebook is crap, right? And then they just spam me with rubbish and say, well, the thing is now I'm pay attention before I do. Well, you say that because it's not a dead art. I've got a lot of things that I sign up to where I actually do value what's coming in there. But I don't do it like I used to, where when it first comes around and you're subjected to it, everything sounds like you believe the hype.
I mean, I bought into a lot of stuff. But now that's what I mean.
And again, that comes down to that trust and that following.
I thought when I signed up to a photography one, and it was really good. But then I signed up to another one, which was for I think it was trading, and the ebook was rubbish. And they kept hard selling me, so they kept going, "Hi Joshua, I emailed you last week. I ignored the email. Is there someone else in the business I can speak to?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, you're actually hard selling. I signed up to this.
So it was literally somebody speaking directly to you. Okay.
They took my email address, and they wanted to hard sell to me now.
Okay, because most of the time it's just a blanket generic email that you get there.
I think depending on what they're trying to sell to me.
Okay.
The photography one is really good because she comes up with really good articles and really good ways of like taking pictures and stuff. And I think, oh, she really knows what she wants to do, what she's doing. And she's actually thinking from a beginner's point of view. And she's trying to add value, and I don't mind.
And you got value out of it, right?
Yeah. But the other one, I'm like, well, I just wanted to see what his ebook's about, and it's not that great. And now you're trying to sell me something. I don't
but there's a difference between the two. And it's different. It's different areas that they're selling as well. One of them is selling you something where you want to actually use it for your own passion, your kind of hobby in photography, or if you would want to take that up as a profession. The other one is trading. Now, what does trading relate to? Trading relates to money. Money relates to you can sell the dream. What does that mean? I can sell you the fast route to success. That's why you get all of these people who pop up. Let me tell you how to do trading, right? On their Instagrams with their cars that they have rented for the day and said, "Oh yeah, I made all of this money, and you can make all of this money too." Shut up, man! It's all nonsense. Like I had somebody talk to me and he said, "What? How can I get into trading?" I'm like, "Do a lot of reading." It's not a simple thing. They can give you all the systems in the world where they say, yeah, you do point and clicks. And there are some people who've got, and there are banking sectors that have incredibly sophisticated software, right, that tries to read where the market's going to go. However, don't assume that you're just going to be able to do what some people train all of their lives and get very bloody good at to do, right? So you can just sit there and somebody sells you a course for £300 that means that you're going to be able to make £3,000 a day a week later. Which is, and again, this is when it comes down to where the moment that people are selling you something that can make money, you get a high boost in the amount of people who are selling in an unethical manner, as opposed to people who are selling a form of service.
People's emotions. That's what it is. And
everyone wants success without work, man.
I tell you, I nearly got sold to hard not too long ago.
What are they trying to tell you?
Someone sold. they sold to me in a big way and nearly got me to part with a lot of money for one of these trading courses. And he was a very good salesman. But what he was doing, he was tapping into the audience's emotions. Yeah, and that's what and that's what sales is about. Is painting the big picture, painting the dream. You know, this is what you can have. I can do this for you, and also being credible, showing that I've done this before. And that's important. Going back to when we were talking about the restaurants and delivery and things like that. If you can show track history, then and that was what started to get me more was like, oh, so he's spoken to this person, he's been talking to this person. He might actually be the real deal. He can actually do this with me. That could be rich. and then it just right at the end, before I put pen to paper, something clicked in my head, and I said, no, and I walked away. But he nearly got me there.
But so in as much as when we were talking about how has the digital landscape changed, as much as I've said, it opens it up to a wide scale audience. It opens it up to a lot more people to be able to sell. So you can get a lot more, because I don't want to say that everybody who's selling in trading a service is illegitimate. They're not. Yeah, there are people who sell legitimately, right? But in as much as you can get more people you can get more salesmen, so the market becomes big and potentially it becomes saturated. At the same time, if you're really good, then you can really stand out. So as opposed to being really good and having to stand out in front of 10 people, there's 100 people selling, there's millions out there selling. But if you're really good, all these people who are selling crap, if you're selling something that is really, really good, then at some point in time, the referrals will start seeing more. And it's not going to be in 3 months, it's not going to be in 6 months, it's not going to be in a year. It could be in a year, it could be in 5 years. At some point in time, you may just get referred to that right person who just absolutely booms up. They've got a powerful friend that they mention your service to and somebody else, and then it steamrolls around from that. If you are honestly delivering, and again, difference between average, good, great. Average is just giving you what they need to give you. Good is looking to give you a bit better than they should. Great is looking to give you stuff that you didn't even know that you wanted. I will not only give you what you're asking for, I will continue to seek out ways that I can give you stuff that you don't even know. You run into problems and I'm trying to find a solution for you. Not because I want to just make you money. I want to better your life. Like there was something I was listening on. I can't remember what it was I was listening to, but there was a guy who was talking and he said first time he was on a plane, he walked out of the restroom and it said, as a courtesy to the person who's going to come after you, can you please make sure you leave the restroom tidy? And he was like, that's what he wants to do for future generations, right? And a great salesman who looks at stuff like that, as a value to the customer, I'm going to leave you better than when I met you. And continuously work on doing it. And I know it sounds like a weird analogy to do that, but the underlying principle is the same.
It's still the same, 100%. It's still, you need to, and that just goes back to being ethical and stuff like that. Because if you're one of those people that we were speaking about before that sells something to somebody that's not going to better them, then you're not going to look at it like that.
Well, it's again. Single sales. I say single sales. It's not what single sales because you can still get those. You get the person who. Because the problem is people quickly upsell, and people could be upsold before they find out it's all a lie.
And they see the track history. They see.
And again, with all of these things, I'll give you a 30-day guarantee. The thing is, when you buy something that doesn't go to plan, how many people actually go back to recompensate for their 30-day guarantee? So this is why. But this is people trying to be smart salesmen, but not necessarily building their business. I'll give you the first 30 days for free. You don't know that I'm going to sign up and I'm going to probably forget or 90% of people are going to forget to cut it off on their first 90 days. As good as their intentions are, right? And you might have me locked down for a year. And when I click in to do that, you're going to say, right, well, you clicked in to do this course. Why don't you take this component of it? Is there an extra £200 or something? And before you know it, you spent £600, £700, and then 6 months down the line, I didn't deliver. It doesn't make a difference. You're not going to rebuy from that person, but they're still going to have sold to a number of people. But they can't build a sustainable business over time. This is the difference. A great salesman will always focus on the business over the sale, whereas like an average salesman is only ever interested. That's what makes the difference between the person who works on the sales floor, always on the sales floor, always cold calling, versus the great salesman who says, I'm going to start here, I'm going to start in the mud. I'm going to be doing all the cold calls, but I'm going to be doing the cold calls to build the business. And then I'm going to build my way up through the business through doing that. And then actually I'm going to get so good that I'm going to start my own business and start giving value back to the customer. Whereas the average person is just doing a job. Yeah. Their job is sales, but they're not a salesman. And this is why I went back to, there's an art in salesmanship. Because it's overlooked. Sometimes it's a dark art and it's used in the wrong manner. However, it is an art in itself. It's like, I think it's a very desirable skill to have.
I always found that the best salesperson, I don't feel like selling to me. They feel like they're having a conversation with me, and then they're offering me the
giving you their expertise.
Yeah, they're telling me what they're selling to me is expertise. They're not selling to me the product. They're just saying, well, we can help you with this, we can help you with that. And I'm thinking, I didn't know about that. I know about this, and then that's the person I tend to buy from. So it didn't feel like they were selling to me. When someone's hard selling to me, it always feels like
and when you know you're being sold to. Yeah. You kind of have an automatic defence mechanism.
That's what I mean. You put your barrier
sets in. Yeah. But as you said earlier, everybody in themselves is, because it goes past just selling products or services. Everybody has almost a responsibility to be your own salesman.
Yeah.
So when you're stepping out in the world, however you're depicting yourself on Twitter, on Facebook, on your social media, you're always selling yourself. Mm-hmm. So and then what I mean is you're always selling yourself to be available to be bought for that next opportunity, right? And that could be a job opportunity.
So again, that's actually a soundbite. So you're selling yourself for the next opportunity.
You're always selling yourself to be bought for the next opportunity.
That's it.
Because for a second there, you said that, and I was like, do I remember what I just said? But what I mean by that is, when I say is that you're always putting yourself in the window for someone to come past and buy you.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in one job, but I'm always putting myself in the window in how I'm going about my daily business and how I carry myself and my values. What I say is congruent with my actions. Yeah. I am selling myself every single day, and I'm not hard selling myself to you. Me selling myself on a daily basis is, in our interactions, I offer value out of them. Yeah. You get value out of our interactions. We get on. We get stuff done. We achieve results, right? My sales pitch every day is how I carry myself. Now, at some point in time, could be 2 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, somebody comes up and let's say they have a gap in their business. I think it was a Les Brown tour I was listening to, funny enough. He was like, there was 2 guys that got made redundant from a company. One guy is like, they're both out looking for work. One of them's like, I can't find work, so he gives up. This other guy is insistent. He's like, I want to work for this company. The company says to him, you're too good. We can't take you on. He's like, well, do you know what? I just need to do work. Yeah. So let me work for you for free. So he's working. He's going about his business and do volunteer work. Then this company has one of its major management leave. The major management leaves. They're looking for somebody to fill the role. They find him because he put himself in a window. He was selling himself in how he was giving himself. He wasn't even getting anything back from that, but he put himself in a window to be bought.
And that was what I said. I think at the very beginning of this, I said that we're all salespeople. We all sell every single day, and selling isn't just verbal. It's like you said, in your actions every day and how you're carrying yourself. Digital marketing, the form of selling, and there's loads of different ways. So we're all salespeople.
I think why people are susceptible to being worse nowadays is so with the introduction of social media and everybody having a way out to the world, some people just naturally aren't. They talk a great game, and it's all nonsense in the background. They don't back it up with anything. The problem is now it's difficult for you to hide that. So you talk a great game here, but I look at you on your Twitter and your Facebook and everywhere else. And again, it's not congruent. You're telling me you're working all these hours, but then all you're tweeting about is, I'm watching. Did you see the new Game of Thrones? Or did you see the new movie? I'm not being too harsh on the Walking Dead. But do you see what I mean? And they're not congruent, or whatever they're saying, their values and what they're saying just don't line up. And this is why people on their day to day, when they're selling themselves, can get caught out.
I wanted to ask you two something on your opinion, because just to see when. I don't know, basically I'll explain the situation. I went to an Eric Thomas seminar, so my thought process of before I went there was, I'm going to see Eric Thomas. That's the reason why I'm going. Eric Thomas came on right at the end of the day. We was there at the beginning, and I spent the whole day of listening to all these other speakers,
Yeah.
but at the end of every speech was, this is how much it's going to cost, I'm going to do this for you. And every single one of them was selling their own services.
Yeah.
So I left that seminar feeling a little bit peed off.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was right to think that, because obviously these guys, they've got expertise, and they're just doing what we all do. They're offering a service, and we need to pay for it. But I didn't like being in that environment, and I just was thinking, was I wrong to feel that way when I was leaving, or I don't know.
Oh, well, so who did you get the most value out of on that day?
Just Eric Thomas. That's why I went.
But
to
this is what I mean. But this is so. I know there's.
I don't know.
There's a very specific reason that I asked that, right? Because you went to see Eric Thomas, right? And that's who. Fine. That is who you went to see.
Yeah.
But what you have to understand is, you can guarantee that wasn't an Eric Thomas organised event.
Yeah,
right?
well, I realise
that
that
was
now.
organised by the people over here,
Yeah.
and the way to get you to go and see it
Yeah.
was to say, we've got ET headliner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you're going to come in, and now the rest of them can sell to you for the day. Now, the thing is, I guarantee, and some of them would have made sales, they would have,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that, but most of the people would have gone, actually, do you know what? ET's really got me pumped up. It's him who I'm going to go back to after. And to be fair, you would have done it anyway because ET's up. I mean, I've got massive ratings for the guy. I still listen to him. He's still my alarm when I wake. Find motivation from him.
Yeah.
But the other guys. So if let's say there was 5 of them there, if there was one of those who just gave you a measurable value and then got to the end of it and didn't sell to you, would you have been more susceptible to them?
I think I probably would have.
This is what I mean, because they weren't focusing on the sale, and they were focused on giving you the value.
And that's it. And after I'd been there for loads of hours, and it just was like, at the end of every single one is, okay, this is how much my course is going to be,
Did any of them speak to you off the stage?
No.
No, so they didn't. So there's none of that networking. So then they're not over delivering anything. They've turned up and they know what they want to sell, and they've got a room full of people, and all they've said is, I'm just going to focus on my only sale pitch. I'm not going to do any warm up. I'm not going to try and speak to people out in the crowd. They're not going to turn up early and say, I'm going to speak to these people before they even know who I am. I'm going to speak to them and build a relationship. So they turn up and start to... Imagine one of those guys had, or man or female, had spoken to you and were just talking to you and getting to know you and your interest, and you're like, oh yeah, I know that person. And then you saw them step up on stage. And then we're like, I was speaking to them earlier. And then they delivered you a massive amount of value. And then they said, if you want to get in touch, I'll be around for the rest of the day. You can pick up my card, the rest of it. You might have picked up their card. Then they've built up an interaction with you. Then slowly they start to build a relationship. And then they might either slip in a sale to you, and it's a bit like when you do with the Gary Vee, right? You're looking for the jab before the right hook. Whereas too many people, and in this instance, just sounds like they were just going straight for the blow, and they just went straight in for the right hook, right? And they got nothing out of it.
Also, because they've been trying to, because there's so many trying to right hook you, you've had fatigue.
And that's it, So by the end of the day,
you don't listen to anymore. You're like this, I don't want to hear this anymore.
But then the one person who you did want to listen to came in, and what did Eric Thomas try to sell at the end of it?
Nothing.
Exactly. Because he's already made his money, but he knows he doesn't need to sell you anything. But one you've already bought because you're going to him. But all of those would have got a commission.
But that's the thing is, there were 2 other speakers who were well known, and they did the video link from America, and they're well known. They've made their money, but they will still sell as well.
They're trying to get new clients.
Yeah. But like what you're saying, Eric Thomas didn't. And I felt a little bit missold too. I don't know if it was my own fault. I didn't read the small, or I didn't really check what was really going to happen. But I went to see ET, and ET was on for probably less than some of the others. Right at the end of the day, when I had gone there first thing in the morning, and then like you said, I had so many right hooks. I got fatigued at the end. And I don't know.
Give example, Gary Vee. When Gary Vee, when he does his videos and stuff, we don't think he's selling to us. But I'm guaranteeing most people go back to him and go, can I sign up to the media?
No, but he's different because he's not. So he's a perfect example, right? Because he said, what is it? There's a clip where he done it before, and he's like, I think most people think I'm a bullshit artist. Yeah. He's like, because you can take sound clips. I'll be blunt, that's how he says it. And he's like, because you can take sound clips, can make me sound like a motivational speaker. He's like, I'm not a motivational speaker. But he motivates people in what he does. And again, a lot of the stuff. So you can buy his books, and people. And I've got all of his books, right? But actually what he delivers you in his books, he gives you on a daily basis, every day. Like it's when somebody says to him, and I almost want to, there's one of these times where I am going to call in and just ask him, does he get frustrated with people asking the same question? Because everybody asks a variation of the same question. How do I get around hard work? And so, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Yes, you should be doing all of them. Yes, you have to work hard. And they're all repetition of the same question that he's asking. But, again, how do I actually go about making myself successful? And he's like, are you for real? Every day I'm showing you how to do it. He put a video up earlier on in the week where he outlined, it's like a 15-minute video, exactly how you need to make business on eBay, what you need to do on a Friday night, how you need to go to boot sales. He does it every single day of the week that he's delivering his daily V's, and it's all free. All of them pop up on my Facebook.
But what I was saying in relation to Gary Vee is that he has a media company. I'm telling you, the majority of people that he's talking to for free and telling them stuff, he's not saying he might say I want a media company, but then people will naturally go to him because they think he's just good at he hasn't sold to me. But when I think about media company, who I go to? Gary Vee, because he's selling about selling. He hasn't sold to me. He hasn't told me, oh, you have to come and get my media company. But then you've heard him talk about it and talk about his life experience and stuff. You think he's that good at his job.
He is a born salesman. But all of his businesses indirectly. So when he started off with his lemonade stands and the wine library business, all of them are built on sales. So he's a great businessman because he's such a good salesman. But he's such a good salesman because everything that he gives is authentic, and he just keeps on giving, mixed with the fact that he's ready to put that work in, right? And that's another thing about great salesmen. They're ready to put in. They almost find time in the day that doesn't exist because they're so focused again on, right, how can I improve my product? How can I keep giving value to the customer? How can I make the transaction even simpler? Like a good example of that is Amazon. Right? So I've got a guy who sits next to me and he goes, I hate Amazon. I'm like, how can you hate Amazon? And he's like, because it's just too easy for me to click nowadays. It's so too easy for me to buy nowadays. Because when someone, you used to have to go to a shop to buy stuff. Then you could get Amazon and then you had to get it delivered. Then Amazon introduced Prime so I could get it delivered the next day. Or in some instances I can get it delivered the same day. Now I don't even have to go to my basket. I can go to one click, right? All of the transaction, they're continually making it more efficient. And because of that, they're making it more likely for me to go and use them. It's just a great sales engine, and it's just improving time by time. And that's, again, even if it's a salesperson, whether they're doing it by the way that they sell to you directly or the tools that they use in the background, it's always increasing efficiency. And why are they increasing efficiency? Not necessarily, it doesn't make their life easier, it doesn't really make any difference to them. The transaction always ends up with the same result to them. They get money in their bank. Makes it easier for me. If it makes it easier for me, I'm likely to go to the person who I find the transaction easier with than the person who's going to make it lethargic. I'm going to have to send you a check. I'm going to have to turn up. I'm going to have to pick up a phone. I'm going to have to put in loads of... Even to the point now where I'm going to have to put in card details, versus I'm going to have to go into Amazon and do my one click because you've already got my card details. I'm going to get my delivery for free because I've got it on my Prime. Like, all of those things just continually making it more efficient.
Funny if you got Prime, you pay for it, but because you think it's a free delivery.
Well, it depends. In fairness, it depends how much you use Prime. Like, I've got people who are like, I'm not going to pay for that. You are right, but I'm like, there are people who are like, I'm not going to pay for that.
No, it's like, we feel that it's free.
That's it.
Well, I'm not. But I would say, but for me, I don't even. I know that I'm paying for it, but I use it so much that I'm getting my value for it.
Exactly, I feel that same way. But also, Amazon is so smart is that they have Prime and they have Prime TV. So now you start with Prime.
You got Prime Music.
You got
Prime Restaurants.
You got Prime TV. You got Prime. You know what I think? And in our head, we're thinking, it's for free, like free delivery and all that stuff. We pay for it, but because they add so much value onto the service, it feels free. Because of the initial sell of Prime, in our heads, it's such a small value, it's a small amount compared to the value they add to the product they're selling to us.
Even that building outside of just the direct sales. How did Amazon make my life even easier just apart from sales? I can get my Echo Dot. I can get my Echo. I can get my Echo Dot. I now can talk things into existence. Like, outside of the whole secret mindset thing, I can talk instructions to things. It's making my life easier. It ties into things that work with Amazon. It ties into restaurants. I could make delivery orders, albeit they have to be repeat ones. All of this stuff, my life as a consumer, easier. Sales mechanism.
All right. I think that was enough We spoke a bit on that.
No, it was good. It was good. It was I think when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to.
Of course you can speak. You know what I mean?
No, I can mix and match. You know what it was? You caught me on that day where I was like right in the middle of trying to fast track the illness, and I'm like, anybody couldn't say anything to me. I was just like a dog ready to bite, and no one talks anyway. So now I'm back. I'm fresh. I'm good to go.
No, that was a good topic. That's a good topic. No, definitely.
So. That's us. First show. What is it? It's taking me a second show of 2017.
Yeah.
So I hope anybody who hasn't started their resolution already, and you're starting it tomorrow, when you get back to us next week, you're still on track with it. Anybody who started it and stayed good on it, good job. Anybody who hasn't, you can restart again and we'll kind of forgive you for it, so you're all good. But as ever, going into the rest of the weeks, the months, the years ahead, life is only as good as your mindset, so we'll catch you next time.
Peace.